It is Thursday. And what does that mean for Boy Green Meets Wudi? Well, if you've been tuning in, that means we have a special friend today. So please tune in as we talk New York Jets, not just the two of us, but with another content creator, Green Bean, Boy Green Meets Wudi, right here, right now.
Zoinks! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rodgers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.
Welcome, everybody. It is another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. You already know me, James Wudi. You already know Boy Green. Rich knows what it is on YouTube. All right, already popping up in the comments. But what we have today is somebody else. All right, and I think you know him too. Okay, this is somebody. He is lean. He is mean. We talking about Green Bean, the New York Jets content creating machine. Let's bring him on down.
Well, hey.
Welcome. How you doing, sir?
Me, I'm awesome, man. I'm in a good mood. I'm excited to be here. I haven't had the opportunity to grace the airwaves with this collection of fine individuals thus far, so this is going to be fun, man. I'm feeling pretty good.
And look at all this beard here. There's a beard overload. Not sure the over-under on beard game heading into this thing, but long overdue, Green Bean. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, keep that thing beautiful. You've done a magnificent job. And so it's good. So, like I said, I do a morning show every morning at 7:30, and Green Bean's been back there since the Jet Zone days. That's like
right.
Old time. That's like 10 plus years ago. I've been doing that show. So phenomenal. It's great to catch up. It's long overdue, Green Bean. So I'm glad to have you here, but I'm glad that we waited in some respects because I heard Connor Hughes after the latest Jets OTA practice. He was saying, man, I've been seeing some flashes from Kenny Yeboah. And I had a lot of commenters immediately saying, does that mean Green Bean's coming on the show? It kind of seems like the stars and moons have aligned. So Kenny Yeboah flashing, Green Bean suddenly shows up. Coincidence? I think not.
I love it. That's a great correlation by everybody. As many know, I was screaming Kenny Yeboah's name, admittedly, maybe slightly early from about the third round, fourth round on in the 2021 draft. Wow. When he was our first undrafted free agent that we signed, I had no less than 50 DMs. I mean, it was a boop, 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 on Instagram, Twitter, text. It just exploded. I'm like, what's happening? What happened? And I was excited. As undrafted free agents do, he's taken a minute. He's kind of carved out a role as a special teamer and, it hasn't gotten too many offensive opportunities. But last year, what's interesting about Yeboah is the hands are not in question with our boy. He was a converted wide receiver. His hands are fine. It was the blocking that was suspect. It was hit or miss. He did okay. But last year, he was injured for the first few games, came back, special teams, did everything. Remember like the last 5 or 6 games, Breece Hall had a resurgence. Hackett admitted, I didn't know he could catch the ball. So, holy shit, oh my God. So once we realized that Breece Hall is actually an asset and a weapon, if you look at the all 22, if you go back and take a look, a lot of those runs, cutting around the outside, going off tackle, Kenny Yeboah is right there with the key block. And even me who likes Kenny Yeboah, I was like, wow, like he looks thunderous. He looks like a different player. And it was really great to see. Thought he was going to be gone this year. They have Kuntz and everything. I just said it's unlikely. He was the first hometown free agent that they signed, and I love it. Now, seeing him playing with the ones, Boy Green, seeing him catching balls from Aaron Rodgers, not Peasley. Yeboah looks great catching a ball from Peasley. Like, that's, less exciting. So I'm really happy. Do I have any unrealistic expectations that he's going to supplant Conklin for, TE1? No, but I don't need him to. I just want the kid to get his time. I think he's a good player to have on the field. He's a, well-rounded player, and I think he should see a percentage increase, and I'm excited. While not getting nuts over OTAs, it's definitely good to see.
Yeah, because quite frankly, you look at the tight end room and there's a lot of wiggle room, quite frankly. Conklin's contract year. All the other guys too. Ruckert, at least after this year, will have one more year left, but he's on the precipice, quite frankly, over halfway through his rookie contract, plus everybody else. So there might be a little Kenny Yeboah stuff. And again, Green Bean stack up. As somebody who's seen the Kenny Yeboah train coming toot from several miles away. I remember the preseason game winner. I can't remember who was that. James Morgan launching that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's a callback, a preseason Hail Mary at the end of the game. So, hey, you never know, baby. You never know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wudi.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Yeboah is bowling, and we are definitely seeing the storylines come together in OTAs. But you actually just said, right? It's only OTAs. I want to ask you, because I think we're all kind of just fiending for whatever info we can get from Connor Hughes, anybody who's there at the practices. How much stock do you actually hold into the reports of, this person caught this many touchdowns, this person, because Brownlee was the belle of the ball, but come the regular season, we didn't see too much. So how much stock do you hold in these May reports of who is progressing?
Very, very little, if I'm being completely frank, right? Very, very little. I mean, over the years, you guys will remember, maybe I'm older than you, but you remember Trudeau. We had Boomer Esiason, and the Trudeau in the training camp and preseason was airing it out, baby. And they're like, he's better than Boomer. He should start. He got one drive. He was happy feet Magoo. He was terrified. It's a whole different thing. So, we see guys like Zach Wilson. They look fantastic in training camp with the shorts on, or at least with the red jersey on where nobody can touch them. It's a different story. I put very little into it other than to say, the fact that Kenny Yeboah is on the field when Aaron Rodgers is on the field, that's really the nugget for me. Because Conklin's there, Ruckert's there, they're healthy. Why is Yeboah getting looks? Why is he on the field? If he's clearly a 3, he would be with the other guys. So I think that's where the positive lies for me. But drops, great runs, they're not hitting each other. The guy had a 65-yard run. Yeah, okay. I mean, nobody tackled him, So, it's hard to put stock into it. But like you said, we're scrounging right now. We're just, we're at the bottom of the Coke glass at Chuck E. Cheese. We're just sucking it in right now, man. There's one more sip, baby.
And I will say, it's funny because when you start, dropping names from the past, I remember when the Jets traded up for Mark Sanchez. They went 17-5. And then I hear the picks involved and I see the package of players. And there was a player who went, oh no. And people are like, what? Who's on the list? I'm like, Brett Ratliff. That was the guy. He was a developing guy. If you squint, he's the quarterback of the future, man. But okay, maybe the Sanchez guy won't be half bad. So we do glom onto these players, these guys. And Brett Ratliff had done nothing to suggest that perhaps even in an alternate universe that he could have possibly been the guy. But we just kind of get these guys and kind of attach ourselves to them and think maybe, just maybe, this could be a little something. So besides Yeboah, Green Bean, who else is on your list of guys that you're rooting for one reason or another? Could be a personal reason, could be what have you. Something stood out to you in some way from the past that you're like, okay, this is a guy I'm rooting for either on the bottom of the roster or just a guy that you think will make an impact beyond some of the big names.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because there's a lot of them, right? But the guys at the front of the line are like last year going into the season, going into training camp, let's say, the truth is I didn't think we had a very good offseason last year. If Aaron Rodgers, which kind of cured all ills, so to speak, if he wasn't brought in, the focus would have been much greater on things like the lack of offensive line support. No real, wide. We brought in Mecole Hardman, we brought in Cobb, brought in Lazard. It was very middling. So a lot of the guys that I'm really excited to see this year and rooting for happen to be the guys that filled those holes that we kind of neglected last year. Cobb was not a viable hole fill. Mecole Hardman, I had hope for because he's been pretty good, but I wasn't overly excited for it. So guys like Malachi Corley, I'm really, really excited about him. We liked him. We go, as we all go through mock after mock after mock, and we do all this study and film like it's my job, and I do all this stuff. Malachi Corley was in a group of guys that if the Jets come away with one of these 3 or 4 receivers, I'm going to be ecstatic. He was in that list. And the truth is, listen to this. People you say, hey, you compare him to Marshawn Lynch. That's ridiculous. He's the beast mode. The truth is they're the exact same height. And Marshawn Lynch has 5 pounds on Malachi Corley. And they play similar style. Now, I'm not saying he is. But if you can bring that attitude, that type of player to the team and get the ball in his hands, exciting things can happen. Another one is Braylon Allen. I wasn't overly excited about Dalvin Cook. I didn't like that we gave up Bam Knight for him. So Braylon Allen's another guy I'm really excited for. I think, switching from this wide zone that we've been implementing, that we've been utilizing really, and going more to a power gap scheme. And we got the players, the Corleys, the Allens, the Isaiah Davises to go with Brees. It matches for me. So I'm really excited. I want to see offense. I'm fine with the defense, Boy Green. I am. It's the offense to me that I need to see something. And I'm really excited about the guys we have, but particularly Braylon Allen and Malachi Corley, adding them to the mix excites me.
Yeah, I'm ready to see some chutzpah, some physicality. Yeah, go ahead, Rudy.
Oh my Lord. Well, there was one running back that just was not named in that list of excitement, Green Bean. I feel bad because at the end of the season, and I know now I say that ad nauseum. Anybody who watches this show, I say the recap over and over because Boy Green and I were yelled at. How dare we want somebody else other than Izzy Abanikanda? Izzy get busy. Right. And now a mere 30 days have passed since the last DM drafted 2 running backs. And now yesterday, right, the newest nugget of news, right, hasn't been a signing in a little bit. Tariq Cohen, 2018 All-Pro, has some injuries. I actually did not realize how extensive his injury was until I looked it up. Torn ACL in 2020, Achilles in 2022, and then a hamstring injury that put him on injured reserve just 6 months.
He also had the tibia fracture in that 2020, the tibia fracture and MCL tear, all in that 2020, which cost him both 2020 and 2021.
So in 2024, how are we feeling about him? And the omission of Izzy from your list of excitement, is he a dead man walking?
Wudi, it's so great because, exclusion, it doesn't necessarily mean that you want him gone or something like that. But the excitement for an Izzy, I mean, we had him all year. He had a real difficult time getting on the field. Dalvin Cook was a complete failure. We traded Michael Carter, and Izzy still couldn't get it. Now, granted, Brees is the beast, right? So we know that. But you'd like to see him on there. The word on the street was that he pass protection's non-existent. So that's one thing. You can't utilize his speed if he can't get past the first level. You know what I mean? So he doesn't have that ability. He's like, you got to get him in space and let him burn. So if we can't do that, it's just one of those things. Now, he's a different skill set than the rest of the guys we have. So there's a place for him, I would think. But I'll be real honest. He wasn't a guy that I was overly excited. He wasn't one of the draft picks that I was beaming over. I was like, okay, cool. That's the guy they like. Great. I'll root for him, of course. but I wasn't overly excited, and he didn't do anything to change that. So I'm rooting for him. I like what he can bring, but I don't know. I mean, I think they've definitely said to him in no uncertain terms, if you want to make the team, make the team. Like that's what I'm picking up. Make the team, kid. You got to make it. Now, Cohen, like you said, he's a flyer. He's a camp body now, but he's a camp body with incredible upside. So he hasn't played since 2020, everybody. Before we get nuts, he hasn't played since 2020, and he hasn't really produced anything since 2019. So that was the last time that he did that, did really anything of significance. But if you're rounding out the bottom end of the roster, 5 years ago, this was a guy, exact same signing. We're talking about him being our starter. We're wondering if he can be our bell cow. So this is the thing. Like, I get into these debates with people like, we shouldn't be talking about guys like this. He's a scrub. I hear you, but he's fodder potentially. I mean, who else here's really two guys you take flyers on. One is, youth and athleticism. You think, okay, give me that guy. His athleticism is through the roof. He's young, he's fast, he's hungry. Let me see if I can make something out of this kid for the bottom end of the roster. The other is a guy that's a high-level NFL producer, all pro, by the way, and I believe 2018. He had injuries. If he doesn't make it, I mean, a whole shitload of guys are going to get cut, everybody. I don't know if we remember that, but a whole mess.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Right. Spoiler alert. He just might be one of them, but he's got an opportunity like against a guy like an Izzy. Look, Izzy, show up, tell this man that's my job. Do that. And if that's all Tariq Cohen does, in addition to the other drafted running backs, is light a fire under Izzy and make him into a better, more hungry and productive back, I'm all for it. But hey, why not Tariq Cohen?
Hey, Wudi, on Tuesday's show, we did a top 5 touchdown prediction reception leaders for the Jets in 2024. Alan Lazard made your list. How many touchdowns do you prognosticate for him, real quick, if you remember that?
I had 5.
5. Okay. Hold that thought. So, Green Bean, Alan Lazard apparently had this horrible practice in front of the media where he's dropping passes left and right. And Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic said that there is a real path that Alan Lazard is a healthy scratch every week of the season, that he isn't even on the active roster, which Woody, I believe a prerequisite to catching touchdown passes is actually being on the roster. But let's put that aside for a moment. So go back to you, Green Bean, in terms of the overreaction stuff to the OTAs. We all thought like Lazard was shitty last year. Okay, he was terrible. But, well, at least with Aaron Rodgers, he can't be worse. He's got to be better. But after that last couple of OTA practices, a couple of these drop skis, and again, we haven't seen all of them because only a few of them were open to the media, but it looks like Lazard is a pile of dumpster fire. So is that something that we should be overreacting to in the same light, that a guy like Lazard looks terrible and there's all the bad stuff last year of deflecting blame, dropping passes, production issues, and quite frankly is too busy kicking around a friggin' soccer ball to do anything. So what about that, Mr. Green Bean?
Burn this man! Burn him! I think it's much to do of nothing. I mean, you'd rather hear otherwise, to be fair, right? But there was a comment early in your chat here. I'm no longer able to see it on my screen. It's just like it's too old, whatever. But it said, I was at one of the OTA practices. Alan Lazard caught 4 straight passes. They would have been for big gains. And you don't hear about that in the same way because it's like, I don't know, our attention, our radar is kind of honed in on certain things. Look, again, it's not a good thing. Like, let's be clear. But it's OTAs, man. He could have had the flu. What if his allergies are in his, he's water in his eyes. He's like, I need an Allegra. I mean, who knows what it is? If we start stacking that stuff and we get into training camp, he can't catch a cold and he's in preseason and he's dropping it, that now we got reason for concern. But I firmly believe, while I'm not the biggest Alan Lazard guy, I think his value is more than what he can bring as a pass catcher. He's 6'5", a thunderous blocker downfield. The Jets have missed that in a serious way. You remember, teams like Keyshawn and Corbett. Corbett, God bless him, 5'10", was a fierce, ferocious blocker. Him and Keyshawn would lay people out, akin to like the Anquan Bolden, Steve Smiths of the world. safeties and cornerbacks had to be aware. Like if that guy catches the ball, that doesn't mean that Anquan Bold's not coming for you. So having guys downfield, and then also for the run game as well, like Lazard, it can be beneficial. Yes, he's still a threat. You still got to cover him. You still got to do that. But the thing I always point back to is we have 4 productive years of Alan Lazard with Aaron Rodgers. We have 1 garbage year with Alan Lazard and Zach Wilson, and really Zach, because he was kind of in the doghouse before Tim Boyle and Simeon came in. But 4 years with Aaron Rodgers, that's our quarterback. 1 year with Zach Wilson, he's gone. Let's maybe give him a mulligan and just see what him and Aaron Rodgers can do together as wide receiver 4 or 5. I'm not too concerned. I get it. I'd rather it be else or otherwise, I should say. But I'm not going nuts over Alan Lazard dropping a couple passes at OTAs.
All right, so Green Bean is not selling his Alan Lazard stock. Okay, baby.
Yeah.
Buy it up.
I
As far as I'm
appreciate
concerned.
you, Green Bean, being the reasonable, the voice of reason. Okay, we literally just 10 minutes ago said we're not going to hold too much stock about OTAs, what we hear in May. And then Boy Green turns around, does a 180, and then tries this hit piece on Alan Lazard. Shame on Boy Green, but I appreciate you, Green Bean, for setting the record straight. Setting it straight. Appreciate that. Now, I think there's something else we need to set straight, because I've seen on social media the fans of other teams have this footage of Aaron Rodgers talking about, is Aaron Rodgers hurt? It was him like changing his socks, right? I think he had a blister or something.
I'm telling you.
Like, changing his socks. Oh, Lord, right? Oh, now his Achilles is at risk, all this type of stuff. People sending it to me laughing, okay? And hey, over our lifetimes, there's been plenty to laugh at us about. I'm not sure a video of somebody changing their socks is one of them. So I'm just going to ask you, how confident are you in the health of Aaron? Obviously, we know things can happen, but just, what you're expecting this season, how confident are you in his Achilles? Would you say it's 100% right now? Like, what do you think about Aaron's health this season?
Well, you know what? I think we could get past all this stuff if Aaron would just change his socks by himself and not need a trainer. You know what I mean? Like, these guys get nuts. Like, it's like, they twist their pinky and everybody runs over and they got to walk to the tent. And it's like, all right, can we just, I played street ball on pavement. I would dive full extension, scrape up my freaking chin. And I was back in the huddle. Can we cut it out? So I think if maybe the trainer wasn't over there when he was changing his socks, he's like, yeah, I got a blister. Can you pop that? He popped his blister. And then he's like, oh, his Achilles. Maybe if we just were aware of that little bit, maybe we could alleviate some of this madness. But look, I think we have a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. If we're not nervous or at least tentative about it, then we're choosing not to be. Which I am, because I don't give a shit. He's my quarterback. Dude, if he goes down, yes, Tyrod Taylor is a much better option than Zach Wilson, but for about 3 or 4 games, because he doesn't last longer than that. So where are we again? You know what I mean? So it's Aaron Rodgers or bust. I choose not to put my own negative Nancy crap into the ether. You know what I mean? I'm just not doing it. If he goes down, he goes down. Until then, I'm ride or die with A-Rod, because if he's on the field, man, I think we are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I believe that. This defense is thick. Garrett Wilson is sick. Breece Hall's a stud. Conklin's way underrated. We added Malachi Corley, Mike Williams. We are a stacked team, and I think we're legitimate. But it really hinges on Aaron Rodgers. So look, the truth is the truth. He's 40 years old, and he tore his Achilles last year. We can't get around it, but he's fine, and he's going to be fine. Damn it. That's what I say.
Yeah, and I'll also say to all the people who are like, well, we got to keep an eye on the Jets and injuries. Hey, you want to give me, a Green Bean gave a great spoiler alert. Players are going to get cut. Didn't see that one coming. Glad he provided that to the show. The other thing I would say is, if other teams' quarterbacks go out, their teams are going to suck. the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs. You check out Mahomes, Josh Allen, and some of these other bastards. Of course, their teams are going to be terrible. So thanks for the analysis, you freaks out there that say the Jets, everything hinges on Aaron Rodgers' health. Yeah, no shit. Thank you. Appreciate that insight. So just wanted to throw that out into there as well. We got another, again, because Wudi keeps, Wudi, Green Bean, everybody, we keep saying like, this is OTAs, of course. Okay, yeah, put that at the start of every question, perhaps. But another UDFA is popular. We had some Eric Watts love, the UConn fella, last week. And this time around, we got the Michigan kid, Braden McGregor. Getting some love from Zach Rosenblatt. Believes he's going to push for a roster spot, which second highest on the guaranteed list in terms of money coming in from UDFAs, which doesn't guarantee a roster spot, certainly, but certainly tells you what the team thinks about him. Are you a Braden McGregor guy? Are you Eric Watts or some Leonard Taylor the third love out there in the universe? And we've had a lot of successful UDFA stories. Kenny Yeboah, among others, baby. Damn straight. Yeah, so
right.
What
Bryce
do you think?
Huff, right?
Yeah, there you go. Tony Adams.
It's
Jason
right.
Brownlee, Xavier Gibson, go.
That's right. And then Robbie Anderson and Snacks Harrison and Brandon Moore. I mean, we have a long, rich history of digging into the bottom of the garbage can and finding gold. That's what we do. Because we can't hit on firsts, so we might as well find them into fucking. But I think I am a Braden McGregor guy, actually, over Eric Watts for that. Now, if it comes out and it's clearly the other way, I'll support the other side. But for the time being, I am a Braden McGregor guy. Here's how I see it shaking out. I think that the top 8 defensive linemen are locked. I know there's some talk of Michael Clemens is in danger. I don't see that. I think that Michael Clemens, when you look at like the departure of JFM and you look at him versus Michael Clemens, just a stat by stat comparison. JFM played 20% more snaps, and he only had like 5 more tackles. He had three more sacks. He had some more production, but nothing crazy. Michael Clemens' production is very similar to JFM, and they did that whole body experiment with him, last year. And I think he's a nasty son of a bitch. He's actually funny, and I like him a lot. I think they're going to give him every opportunity to like kind of secure his position, 35% of the snaps, which is fine. But I see the bottom 2 guys. I think they'll keep 10. Mm-hmm. I think the bottom 2 are going to be Leonard Taylor and Braden McGregor. And one for the interior, one for the outside. And I think that's a very healthy way to go about it. Our defensive line is not in question. We even have a first-round pick coming in as depth almost. Like, second year in Will McDonald, he'll be fed in on Reddick's side. You got JJ and Michael Clemens on the other side, Quinnen Williams, Javon Kinlaw, Leaky Fotu. Like, so having Leonard Taylor in there rotating in instead of, 56-year-old Al Woods, who I liked well enough. But let's be honest, he had 6 tackles last year. Everybody goes, Al Woods, you got 6 tackles, everybody. I just want to remind everybody of keep it in perspective here. I think 6 tackles can be reproduced. That's just all I'm saying.
Wow.
Now, on the I know it's a leap. It is. Now, Al Woods, his value was otherwise. He clogged a lot of the holes, and they'd bounce outside, and the linebackers would clean up. I know that's real, too. But so the other side of it is I also think another undrafted free agent is going to make the squad and push either a Jake Hansen or an Xavier Newman off the roster, or at least to the practice squad. And that's Brady Latham. Brady Latham was every bit of a draftable player. Matter of fact, I thought he would go somewhere in the 5th, 6th. And the fact that he made it to undrafted free agency, he's a nasty, nasty son of a bitch. He plays through the whistle, and he likes to put his guys on the ground. Nasty interior offensive lineman, perfect developmental guy. And I think Braden McGregor, Leonard Taylor III, and Brady Latham as an undrafted free agent class is about as good as you could have possibly hoped for, and makes this draft class even better, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a quick nugget on that. Thor Nystrom, who's a good buddy of mine who covers the draft and NFL football, he graded, and he's done this the last 5 years or so. He ranks and grades every undrafted free agent class in the NFL, and the Jets were number 2 overall in the league, only edged out by a hair by the Kansas City Chiefs, who were number 1. And again, how can that not accent the draft class that was delivered? So spectacular. And Green Bean, I feel like I could do a 24/7 live stream with you, for God's sakes. I can't believe all this time has already passed, my friend, but it was great to catch up. Thanks for carving out the time, brother. And next time we'll have to do it, instead of once every 20 years, maybe we'll mix in, an occasional weekend visit, every other weekend or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to take a month off, guys. And when I come back, leading into training camp, I'll have you guys on my show as well if you're available on Thursday night, and we can do and we can do that and start kicking it into overdrive again like we used to. You know what I mean? We used to do this stuff more often. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm grateful for the time with you guys and having me on, and have a good day to everybody in the chat. I really appreciate your promptness. It's 30 minutes on the button. I don't know how to do that. That's well done. I have to. Well done, sir.
Professional for Pete's
sake. You are, man.
That's what happens.
There's ever been a question, that shit's out the window. You are pro.
Yeah, thank God. I finally answered those bells. There's been a lot of articles written and things about the perfect. And booyah, we finished it right there. Green Bean. Thanks, brother. Enjoy some well-deserved time off, and we'll circle back with you soon, okay?
See you guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
Yes,
right,
you
there
too.
He is. Green Bean joining us here on the show. All right, Woody, do you want to keep going? Do you want to cut it off here? You tell me, brother.
Nah, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you, man.
I don't blame you.
The excitement was there. There's one less beard on the screen. I'm going home.
Okay, that's a good way to do it. So there he is, and a proper sign off there. Later, everybody. Green Bean, the Jets fan. Make sure you guys follow him on YouTube. He does a wonderful job with this content creation. He's on all the time. Make sure you guys go check him out. It was good, and I'm dead serious. Someone asked me in the morning show, when's the last time you were on with Green Bean? I'm like, no friggin' clue, because our schedules clashed a lot. But it was awesome to catch up with him and to attempt to dunk on Wudi with the Lazard stuff. Like, it's just it's a full circle.
Rejected into the stands.
That's okay. That's okay. Green Bean doesn't have to agree with me on everything. Just because he was wrong on that particular location, that's fine. But that's what happens. So it is what it is. I forgive him.
Right,
I don't.
Well, we will be back, you already know, on Tuesday with Boy Green Meets Wudi. If you're missing me, of course, you don't have enough time to miss Boy Green because he's doing this every Thursday, every morning at 7 a.m. You guys already know Boy Green Daily. But if you're missing me, if you're feeling like there's not enough Wudi in your life, Tuesday at 3 p.m. we will be back. And then on Thursday, I think we are liking the Thursday third party type deal with another guest.
Yeah, I guess I'll just drop it just because in this unique frame, because we're trying to get a guest for every Thursday. I'm trying to line up a couple in a row and then trying to see what Thursdays work better for other people. So I'll just let you guys know. Will Parkinson, my boy, the host of the award-winning TOJ podcast, will be joining us next Thursday. And it'll be a lot of fun. So we've had some fun content creators on so far, but a lot of people have been asking, requesting, like I'm a music DJ. I actually have a music station literally. There's a glass wall right here, and on the other side is 93Q, the number one hit music, station. And one of the hits is Will Parkinson that people have been begging and asking for. So finally, we'll bring him back on the show. It's been too damn long. So we will have Will coming up next week. But yes, Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning. We'll talk more about this Alan Lazard business, and I'll be able to yell without anyone interrupting.
You are so obsessed. So weird.
Hey, I'm sorry. When people suck and they're blowing it and they're looking terrible, we're going to call them out. That's what happens.
Okay, all right. I don't know what he did to you, but
so look forward to it, baby. 7:30 tomorrow morning on some Alan Lazard trashing an Alan Lazard diss track dropping at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Very much looking forward to it. Should be a doozy.
All right. What a pitch. What a pitch. But thank you everybody for your time, and I hope you guys enjoyed the three of us.
Yep, and thank you to the 300 people in the room. Make sure on the way out you guys are liking the video, hitting subscribe if you're watching on one of the other platforms. Instagram, The James Wudi. Twitter, @BoyGreen25. Hop on over, youtube.com/BoyGreen25, where you can catch this show and all our other shows as well every single day. All right, thanks, everybody, and we will see you next time. Take care.